If fear is the only thing stopping us from achieving our dreams, and we only fear what we don't understand, then the antidote to fear is knowledge. All we have to do is find out who has the knowledge that we need to conquer our fears and achieve our entrepreneurial dreams. My name is Callum Walker, and welcome to the podcast that will help you figure it out and conquer this lonely entrepreneurial journey. Hello everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Yeah, it is really beautiful and sunny today, I must say. And things have just been moving forward so fast. Like, my business has been progressing immensely in a very short space of time. And I put it down to one thing. And this is not going to be particularly mind-blowing, but I've just taken an immense amount of action. I've taken so much action recently. And I guess the thing is, like, I can't say I've acquired much more knowledge in terms of, like, the strategy on which I'm using to kind of grow my business. I can't say that that's been a thing, but I think the thing that's kind of, like, changed, and has really allowed me to take more action, has really been something that I've done a couple of episodes about previously. But I think that if you are in a place where maybe, whether it's you driving your coaching business forward, whether it's in terms of, like, the results that you're getting with your clients at the moment, they're the exact same as they were 6, 9, 12, 24 months ago. Effectively, if you feel that your situation is the exact same as it has been for quite a long time, and not much has kind of changed, you're still in the same spot, then this episode could really kind of serve as a little bit of a turning point for you. I think that there's been two main things that have really kind of allowed me to move forward with an immense amount of pace, but also in a way that hasn't broken me. I always used to think that when success would come, it would come off the back of an immense amount of hard work, blood, sweat, tears, and I would be exhausted, and I would have to be exhausted in order to do that. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't worked hard, like I have, but what I have noticed is, especially over the last 3 to 4 months, I've done more work than I've ever done, at a higher quality than I've ever done, but I can't necessarily say it has come at much of a sacrifice, or it has exhausted me. It's actually happened more smoothly, easily, and filled me with energy as opposed to taking energy away from me. So I think the first thing, within that has very much been that it's not necessarily a case of you have to work harder. You have to do more work. Yeah, absolutely. But I think the secret is in doing. So, like I kind of mentioned that, if you are in the same place as you were maybe 6, 12, 18 months ago, you need to do more. Now, if you've read Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Leads, he starts the book with do more. Now, most people associate that in terms of, like, oh, you've got to do more stuff. Do more. But I actually think that, flip it around, instead of do more, it should actually be more do. More do. So what's the difference there? Well, do more, I immediately associate that with, I've got to do more work. I've got to, like, that there's so many more tasks that I've got to do and blah, blah. Whereas I actually think that if you look at what he's really trying to say in terms of do more, it really is actually like take more action, take more steps. And that kind of brings me to the real thing that has actually changed for me. The only thing that has actually changed has been I have been very, very definite in terms of what I am trying to achieve. very, very definite in terms of what I'm trying to achieve. Now, I've repeated that because, like, it's so important, but it's so easily just kind of forgotten about. It feels like we can sometimes be doing so much work, so much stuff, putting out so much energy, putting in all of these reps, but getting nowhere. And it's almost kind of like, it can sometimes feel that you're kind of like a race car going at 100 miles an hour, but you've got the brakes on. But effectively, it's kind of almost like we're doing laps. Like we're doing laps around a track. Because if we haven't got our clear destination and the clear thing that we're actually looking to execute, we're looking to actually achieve, then we are just doing laps around the track. But I don't want to do laps around the track because I'm in a place like maybe, yeah, if I wanted to stay in the same track that I'm in, but naturally, you listening to this, myself, all of the guys that I work with, we're success oriented. We want to move forward in our life. We want to become better. We want to achieve more, do more, be more. So instead of almost like, I don't want to be a runner who just runs around in circles and just visits the same track over and over again and has the same view. That's where I've definitely been in my coaching business before, where I'm just literally seeing the same thing over and over again. I'm experiencing the same thing over and over again. And the problem is that gets you in a rut. And a rut, I feel, is actually a lack of excitement and enthusiasm about the future because there's nothing new happening. I'm just doing check-ins with clients. I've got one-to-one. I'm just going to write a meal plan. I'm just going to do an exercise program. I'm just going to wake up and post some content. I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, but that's not an exciting future. When it's the same over and over again, there's no new possibilities. Again, it's almost like we're running laps around a track. But I don't want to run laps around a track. I want to run in the mountains. But specifically, I want to run up that mountain. That one specific mountain. And there's the route that I want to take is the scenic route. That I'm going to see so many different things that excite me and fill me with enthusiasm. So I think that if you do find yourself in a rut, feel like you haven't made progress, kind of take what Alex Hormozi was kind of saying in terms of do more. But instead of do more, have more doing, taking more steps. And it can just be a simple step. Like, it doesn't have to be these huge, monstrous events that we have to almost kind of put together, because that kind of puts us off taking action. But I look at kind of the real thing that really caused me to stagnate and stay where I'm at. I wasn't taking action because I didn't know what action I legitimately needed to take to achieve the specific thing I was looking to achieve. Solely because I hadn't actually defined what it was that I was trying to achieve. Does that make sense? Like, was I absolutely abundantly clear what I was trying to build? Again, I did a podcast episode on this, and I'm probably going to repeat myself again, but I did an episode on this in terms of, like, Alice in Wonderland. Like, she goes and sees the Cheshire Cat. The Cheshire Cat, she asks to him, which way do I need to go? And the cat goes, well, where do you want to go? And she goes, I don't know. He goes, well, it doesn't matter where you're going then. She's just aimlessly wandering around. And the problem is then you don't know what steps you need to take, so you just take whatever steps are default, the steps that you have taken previously, which are the steps that have led you to where you currently are. Whereas if we want to change our actions, we've got to change the destination. But not necessarily change the destination, but define the destination. Again, it's like plugging in your sat-nav. I've got to plug in my sat-nav and then know what roads I'm actually going to take in order to get to the destination to get there. Like, I'm currently driving down south to Essex. I'm moving forward. I'm going down the M40 to get there. But I could also go on a road. I could go on the M6. But that's not going to take me to where I actually want to get to. And there was an amazing quote. So there's an amazing book that I'm about to start. Well, I say I'm about to start. I've started off a little bit of it to begin with, but it was written in 1923 by a woman called Elsie Lincoln Benedict. I'm really excited to read this book because I mentioned on the last episode that I'm in Russell's coaching program, Russell Brunson, and he said that this is one of his favorite books of all time, and he has given some fantastic recommendations over the years. So if that caused Russell to get really excited, it'll definitely cause me to get excited. So yeah, but she started the book off by going, there was a man who was on a walk, and he came along a stranger, and he asked the stranger, how many miles to Chicago? And the stranger goes, well, if you keep going in the direction that you are going, it's 25,000 miles. But if you turn around and go in that direction, it's only 1.5 miles. And I couldn't help but that hit me really, really hard, because it's walking. Like you're still walking, and you're going on a route, you're going in a direction, you're going in the wrong direction, because we need to define where we're actually going. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's so clear. You have to define what you're trying to actually build. It's the same with when a client used to come to me and they'd go, oh, how much protein should I eat? No, how many carbs should I eat a day? And I'm like, well, it depends. Like, what do you mean it depends? Well, what are you trying to achieve? Are you type 2 diabetic and you need to be in a state of ketosis? Or are you an ultramarathon runner and actually need to, you can't go ketogenic, and you need to make sure your glycogen stores are that they're full up? The same tool, i.e. eating carbohydrates, but based on the goal, one would eat less than 200 grams, one would eat less than 20 grams of carbs in a day. The other could eat up to 1,200 grams of carbs in a day. Same vehicle, different destination. So I think the thing that I've done has been, I've been super clear on what it is that I'm trying to achieve, what it is that I'm trying to build. That has been so clear. And again, this can translate into your coaching in terms of whenever you have a client, you have to make sure you are super clear as to what is it they are trying to achieve. What are you trying to achieve? Because then you can go and give them the right tools that they need in order to achieve that specific goal. Again, you've got to find out what the destination is, and then go and give them the right vehicle and take the right route to get to that destination. But for yourself, in terms of what you're trying to achieve, whether it's in your business or within your life, that you have to get so clear on what you're trying to achieve, where you're actually going, because then that gives you absolute clarity on what are the steps that I need to take. And the beauty is that I found is that when I've taken that first step, the worry has always been like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. So for example, right now, I'm really driving my coaching program and driving my business from a marketing point of view through paid advertising. I was really scared to go down paid advertising because I'd never done it before and I wasn't a specialist. So the goal was really to grow my business through paid advertising. Specifically, I'm looking for 100 members on my coaching program in the next 12 months, all through paid advertising. So the goal is very, very clear, but that was quite scary for me because I was like, I've never done paid ads before. When I have kind of dabbled, they haven't worked. I'm not a specialist. So I could immediately be put off by the how. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But instead of doing that, I was like, okay, right, I've got a good idea of what a paid advertising strategy would look like, but there's so many hows in the way, which could potentially put me off taking those actions. So I go, right, actually, what I need to do is take the first step. What is the first step that I could take in terms of moving towards this specific goal? What is just, if I could just take one step in that direction, what would it be? And it was go and hire an ads guy. And the thing is that when I took that first step, the next how kind of revealed itself to me. So the how that I didn't know about, that was scary and stopping me from taking action, by taking the first step towards the destination, the how I was going to do it revealed itself through the conversation I had with my new ads guy, through some material that I read in terms of books, information that I went and sought after, because I was then revealed a new problem that I needed to solve. So in terms of taking that action, like I kind of mentioned, that taking the action that is just moving you one step closer to where you want to be, I think needs to be a daily task. That every day ask yourself the question, am I taking a step closer to where I want to be? So, because then it's just broken down into that, just small little tasks on today, I'm just going to take one step towards where I want to be. And the beauty is that one step, it will drive you into more action because it will give you momentum. And you naturally get into this state of momentum where action then starts to really, really build. And that's how things happen faster and faster. But I think that the other thing is that I made a decision not only on what I was going to pursue, but I always knew that this was a goal for me. So I've had this goal for a long time, but something's very, very different now. That goal was always kind of a wish. It was like, yeah, that's my goal. But that was always kind of in the future. So the thing was, it was always in the future, which meant that it was going to happen in the future, which meant that the action that I was going to take is going to be in the future. But the thing that I decided was to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it into the present. Like, it's not in the future. I'm going to bring it to me now. And what I mean by that is that, obviously right now I don't have 100 members on my coaching program. I don't. But I am certainly closer to that because I've made the decision in going like, right, that's not a future goal. That's not a someday goal. That is my goal I am currently pursuing. I'm currently in pursuit of making that goal happen and taking action to ensure that it does. And I think that if I could put one thing towards you, it would really be bring your goals closer to you. Bring them closer to your reality and make it happen. We had a call today, on my elite coach, and we were talking about this, that, so for example, with paid ads, like it's going to cost me a lot of money. It already has cost me money. And it's a risk. It's like going to the casino, yeah? But the thing is that there was a story in The Alchemist where it's an amazing book if you haven't read it. Like, I adore it. It's one of my most favorite and special books. But there was a point in that book, I'm not going to ruin the story for you, but it's about a young boy who's going to the pyramids. Yeah, he's going on a trek from Spain to the pyramids. And so he's on this trek to the pyramids, and there's a point where it's highly likely that he's going to die. It's highly likely that he's going to die. But his dream, and what he refers to as his personal legend, his life's work, is going on this journey to the pyramids. And he's about to die, but he was almost kind of like happy and content that there was a possibility in the next 24 hours that he could lose his life. Because he said, well, at least if I die, I died in pursuit of my personal legend. So I guarantee that your desire, your real goal, the thing that you truly want to achieve, that you really deep down want to achieve and you've always wanted to achieve, this goal that is in the future, this one day I'll do it, I guarantee it is so scary. Like, it is scary. You know you want to do it, but you probably don't feel like you're good enough, you're worthy enough, you're capable enough of being able to do it. And it will require a price. It will require a price. Whether it's, for an example, like, you want to work with myself. You want to come into one of my coaching programs. That's probably scary because it's something new and it requires an investment. But whether it's, for example, myself, I'm going down the paid advertising route. Like, it's a risk and it's scary and it comes at a price. There is a price. But then again, with other goals, that price could be a risk of looking silly. Maybe you want to start a podcast. Maybe you want to start speaking on stages. Maybe you want to start doing your own live events for your clients. That's scary. And it requires the price of overcoming that fear. But I found that everything in life has its price, and you're either going to pay one way with the pain of going after it or the pain of not achieving it because you never tried. So either way, there's going to be pain. It's really what kind of pain that you want to choose. And I think that you can bring it into the future by making a decision. I'm making a decision. I'm going all in on it. I'm doing it. I'm committed. Like, I'm in. I'm doing it. You know, I paid Russell £25,000 last year. I was fucking committed then. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, make a commitment that I'm going in this direction and I am moving forward. You know, the last episode I spoke about overcoming procrastination and this resistance. You know, you overcome the resistance by knowing what you want, but by moving forward with definiteness of purpose, by driving yourself forward, not going around an athletics track in a circle and staying where you're at. And I get it, it is really, really scary, but it's also really rewarding. And I come back to the point of The Alchemist, that, you know, we were talking about this on the, you know, my elite coach call today, where like, this could all go to pot. You could lose all of your money. You could lose all of your clients. But at least I tried. And at least I died in pursuit of the thing that I truly wanted to go after. At least I died in pursuit of my personal legend. And the thing is that when you make that commitment, it, you know, I go back to a quote from Napoleon Hill. He said that the funny thing is, in life, I have found that life throws itself on the side of the person who is willing to stake one turn of the wheel to achieve their desire. You know, the person who's willing to go and do a Hail Mary and go all in on it. That's not to say be reckless. It's to say be committed. Like, don't dip your toe in. Go all in. Go all in and make it happen. But decide today that I'm going to make it happen. But I'm going to make it happen today by taking the first step. Taking that first step. Because that first step really is all about you showcasing to yourself that you're taking action and you are committed. So don't be committed by telling yourself, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Be committed by more doing, by doing something that showcases that you are committed. So whatever the thing is, just no matter how scary it is, take the first step. If you want to start your own podcast, just film the first fucking episode. Just film it. Like, look at how, you know, again, like, you don't have to have fancy cameras, mics or whatever. I'm recording this in my fucking car. Do you know what I mean? I'm recording this in my car, and I don't have anything fancy. I don't have, like, you know, a specific script. I don't have a clear structure to how I do these. These episodes are basically a Dear Diary. So just talk about what you've done today. Talk about what health and fitness means to you. Again, if you've been thinking about working for myself, not for myself, working with myself for a while, take the first step. Take the first step. You know, go and register for one of my webinars, for one of my free masterclasses. I do them every Thursday. I've got a masterclass this Thursday coming up. Go and register for that. It's free to attend, and take the first step in committing to learning more nutritionally, to really removing self-doubt, imposter syndrome. Go and take the first step and go and, you know, start on that journey. So you are making a promise to yourself and a commitment to yourself by taking the first step and taking action. And that also brings your desire and the reality that you want to achieve. It brings it from the future into the present. And I promise you, when you do that, that's how you realize more and more success. That's how you realize more success than you could ever imagine possible. I promise you. Like, I actually can't believe, you know, what's happened over the past kind of like 3 months for me. I've earned more money than I ever have. I've had more fun than I've ever had. My clients have got better results than I ever had. I've been happier than I ever have. You know, we just got a new home. And yeah, life's exciting. And when life wasn't exciting, I wasn't doing. I was procrastinating. I was stuck. I was paralyzed in inaction. But what I was actually paralyzed in was indecision. I hadn't made a decision on where I was going to go and what I was working on. And therefore, I didn't know what action to take. So, yeah, that's the secret. Never forget, if every one of your clients gave you just one new client, you've doubled your business.